Have you ever woken up feeling more tired than when you went to bed? Or glanced at yourself in the mirror and thought you looked older than you remembered the day before? As you move past 65, it's easy to assume these are just the normal byproducts of aging. However, small details in your morning routine can secretly accelerate that sense of decline and even highlight the very signs of aging you'd rather minimize. Many seniors follow the same morning habits year after year, not realizing that certain practices, once benign, can become detrimental as the body grows more sensitive to stress, inflammation, or nutrient imbalances. Fortunately, awareness is half the battle. By pinpointing these hidden culprits and swapping them for more gentle, supportive behaviors, you can significantly improve how you feel and look each day. In this discussion, we'll explore 5 common morning routines that silently speed up the aging process after 65, urging you to avoid or alter them immediately. Even if you recognize only 1 or 2 in your life, addressing them can lead to surprisingly positive changes in your health and well-being. Perhaps the most overlooked trap is skipping breakfast or forcing yourself to run on just a cup of coffee until midday. Many older adults fall into this pattern due to a diminished appetite in the morning, or they believe that eating less might help them manage weight. But your body, especially your metabolism, sees it differently. After a long night's fast, your system craves a balanced intake of nutrients to jumpstart muscle repair, stabilize blood sugar, and feed your brain. When you skip breakfast entirely, you set off a stress response in the body. Cortisol levels, the stress hormone, can remain high, leading to increased inflammation, which is a known contributor to accelerated aging. Over months and years, chronic inflammation can take a toll on joints, skin elasticity, and even cognitive function. If your reason for skipping breakfast is a lack of hunger, you might try a light, nutrient-rich option: a small serving of Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, or a bowl of oatmeal with fruit. The key is to ensure you're getting enough protein, fiber, and essential vitamins to support muscle maintenance and overall vitality. Even a simple smoothie with spinach, berries, and a protein base can do wonders for halting morning fatigue and preventing that mid-morning crash. By nourishing yourself early, you give your body the resources it needs to sustain energy throughout the day, rather than forcing it into a survival mode that eventually wears down your resilience. Those who persistently skip breakfast may also see spikes in midday cravings for sweets or high-calorie snacks, which can sabotage health goals. So if you realize you've been denying your body those vital nutrients first thing in the morning, consider making a modest but consistent adjustment in your morning meal routine. Another insidious habit is reaching first for sugary or heavily processed foods, like sweet pastries, donuts, or sugary cereals, immediately upon waking. It's one thing not to eat at all, but it can be equally damaging to flood your bloodstream with refined sugar at a time when your insulin sensitivity may already be compromised by age or conditions like prediabetes. A spike in blood sugar triggers a rush of insulin, which can then lead to a sharp crash that leaves you feeling tired and cranky. This seesaw effect erodes your body's capacity to regulate glucose over time. Moreover, sugar-laden foods often lack the protein, healthy fats, or fiber needed to sustain muscle health and digestive balance. If you've been noticing that you quickly become fatigued, need a nap soon after, or experience brain fog as the morning progresses, it might be the direct result of that sugary indulgence. The repeated sugar spikes accelerate glycation, a process where sugar molecules bind to proteins in the skin and other tissues, weakening their structure. This glycation is a prime suspect in wrinkle formation, skin sagging, and other physical markers that we associate with advanced aging. For seniors who grew up being told breakfast is the most important meal, the convenience of grabbing a donut or sweet roll can linger as a habit. But as your body changes, it's wise to pivot toward breakfast choices that are gentler on your pancreas and your overall system. Think whole grain toast with nut butter, eggs with vegetables, or a small serving of fresh fruit with plain yogurt. These options release energy more steadily, preserving not only your stamina, but also the youthful integrity of your skin and tissues. A third often underrated thread is prolonged sitting right after getting out of bed. Whether it's hunching over the television, reading the newspaper for an hour in the same position, or scrolling on a phone or tablet, Older adults might experience stiffness in the morning, especially if arthritis or joint inflammation is present. So the temptation is to remain in a soft chair, letting the morning drift away. Yet movement is precisely what your joints and muscles need to wake up properly. When you stay sedentary, your body remains in a state of stagnation. Blood flow to the extremities decreases. Circulation to the brain is less dynamic, and your muscles can become even stiffer. Over time, this can speed up muscle deterioration, sarcopenia, and reduce your balance and mobility. Accidents such as tripping or falling might become more likely because your legs haven't been activated early in the day. Moreover, extended sitting soon after waking can also aggravate spinal alignment issues, potentially leading to chronic lower back pain. A smarter approach is to gently ease into movement, even for 5 or 10 minutes. A short walk around the house, some basic stretching, or simple exercises like heel raises or arm circles can get blood circulating, lubricate the joints, and prime your posture for the rest of the day. If you enjoy reading or catching up on the news, you might do it while alternating between standing and sitting, or break it up into smaller intervals. The point is that devoting too much uninterrupted time to the couch or chair right after you wake can act like an anchor on your vitality, intensifying the natural stiffness that often comes with age. By making a habit of light, consistent activity, you support muscle retention, a healthier spine, and even a sharper sense of alertness. The fourth morning misstep is relying heavily on coffee, caffeine pills, or energy drinks without pairing them with adequate hydration or a balanced meal. Many seniors come to depend on that jolt of caffeine to kickstart their day, but it's easy for this reliance to devolve into a habit that strains your adrenal system, leading to elevated cortisol levels well into midday. As your system ages, it can't always buffer the effects of caffeine as smoothly as it once did, especially if you have blood pressure concerns or an underlying heart condition. The result can be jitteriness, a racing heartbeat, or even a spike in anxiety or irritability. Over the long term, chronic overstimulation of the nervous system can disrupt sleep patterns at night. A vicious cycle if you're already dealing with insomnia or age sleep difficulties. Another hidden danger is dehydration. Caffeine acts as a mild diuretic, prompting you to lose more fluid. If you're not consciously replenishing with water, the mild dehydration can exacerbate wrinkles, dryness in the skin, and a loss of elasticity, hallmarks of accelerated aging. It can also cause dizziness if you stand up too quickly, further risking accidents. This doesn't mean you must give up your morning coffee entirely. Rather, it's about moderation and synergy. Have a glass of water beforehand. Ensure you're not skipping breakfast. And perhaps limit yourself to a single cup or two if you notice that large amounts of caffeine no longer serve you. Consider switching to herbal teas partway through the morning or try half-caff blends. The simple shift away from too much caffeine can help stabilize mood, preserve better sleep, and keep your skin and tissues from falling into dehydration. Finally, the fifth habit that undermines healthy aging is starting your day in a high-stress environment. Often by immediately diving into negative news or stressful phone calls. Many seniors begin their mornings by switching on the TV or scrolling through a phone or tablet to catch up on the headlines. The problem is that news outlets typically emphasize crisis, conflict, or disaster, which can abruptly spike your stress levels. When you're older, the stress response, manifested in cortisol and adrenaline surges, can linger and wreak havoc. Chronic stress is a known accelerator of cellular aging, as it exacerbates inflammation and can even shorten telomeres, the protective caps on our DNA that degrade faster under persistent stress. Plus, that sense of gloom or anxiety you feel after immersing yourself in dire headlines can overshadow your entire morning, causing tension in your body and making tasks more mentally draining. If you're dealing with borderline hypertension or any heart condition, daily exposure to negativity before you've even eaten breakfast can heighten your symptoms. Rather than ignoring the world altogether, it might help to delay consuming intense news for at least 30 minutes or an hour. Use that early time for a calm ritual, light stretching, a peaceful breakfast, or a moment of gratitude for a new day. If you must check your phone, consider limiting which news notifications can reach you. Another trick is to focus initially on uplifting or neutral content. A piece of music you love, a short passage from a positive book, or a gentle conversation with a friend. By setting a calmer emotional tone, you free your body from an immediate stress surge, helping to guard your mental well-being, immune system, and overall sense of youthfulness. Over time, you'll likely find that you approach the day with a lighter heart and a more resilient mindset. When you step back and examine these 5 habits, skipping breakfast, indulging in sugary morning foods, staying too sedentary, overloading on caffeine without balancing hydration or nutrition, and flooding your mind with stress-laden content, it's clear how they can combine to foster a negative cycle that ages you faster than necessary. Any one of them can chip away at energy, muscle health, skin elasticity, or emotional stability. Put together, they form a damaging routine that takes a toll on nearly every dimension of your health. The silver lining is that each of these habits can be adjusted without radical lifestyle changes. If you're not used to breakfast, start small. If you crave something sweet in the morning, switch to fruit or lightly sweetened oatmeal. If you love your chair time, incorporate micro breaks for stretching. If caffeine is your lifeline, downsize your dose or space it out. And if your mind craves morning updates, filter them so you don't drown in negativity right from the get-go. Understandably, you might worry that changing your ingrained morning pattern will be tough. Humans are creatures of habit, especially in later life when routines provide comfort and predictability. Yet it's often these small, comfortable patterns that accumulate in ways you never intended, nudging your body and mind toward a steeper aging curve. The best approach is incremental. Tackle one habit at a time, giving yourself permission to experiment and see how your body responds. For instance, if skipping breakfast is your main issue, focus on that for a week or 2. Notice whether you have more consistent energy by adding a simple meal. Or if your Achilles heel is sugar in the morning, try reducing the portion size of pastries or swap them out for a more protein-rich alternative. Then watch how your focus and stamina fare. You may be pleasantly surprised at how quickly your body rewards these modest improvements with more stable mood, less stiffness, or brighter skin. Eventually, you'll see that the true secret to aging well isn't about obsessing over expensive treatments or drastic measures. It's about daily, gentle choices that respect your body's changing needs. Those small efforts compound into a big difference, and your mornings, once a source of hidden damage, can become a proactive time to set the day's tone of vitality. If you find yourself feeling better after adopting these suggestions, consider passing the knowledge along to friends or family members who might also be stuck in damaging morning routines. There's a real sense of empowerment in realizing that no matter your age, you can still refine your lifestyle to yield better outcomes. Of course, if you have underlying health conditions, consult your healthcare provider when making dietary or activity changes. Some seniors might require specialized instructions, like balancing medication schedules with breakfast or limiting fluid intake if they have certain kidney issues. Still, even with such constraints, the fundamental concept remains. Identify where your mornings cause stress or nutritional imbalances, then address them with small, focused tweaks. Over time, this approach lays the groundwork for healthier skin, stronger muscles, improved cognition, and a calmer state of mind, all of which collectively oppose the daily factors that can accelerate aging. Many older adults discover that once they break these problematic habits, they reclaim a kind of morning glow they thought was gone forever. Energy in your 60s or 70s can feel different from the unbounded vigor of youth, but it can still be robust enough to allow for activities you enjoy, whether that's gardening, spending time with grandchildren, or taking leisurely walks in nature. By avoiding the pitfalls of skipping breakfast, sugary jolts, prolonged morning idleness, caffeine overload, and immediate stress immersion, you're safeguarding that precious energy for the rest of the day, preserving your interests and social connections, which themselves play a role in healthy aging. So as you reflect on your morning habits, take a moment to ask, do you greet each day in a way that truly nourishes and refreshes you? Or do you inadvertently sabotage your well-being before it's even 9 a.m.? If it's the latter, consider these immediate adjustments as your blueprint for change. You might not banish every habit overnight, but with patience and consistency, you'll find that your mornings transform into a protective shield against the creeping signs of aging. That's a goal worth pursuing. Whether it's making breakfast a non-negotiable, reducing processed sugars, sprinkling light movements into your routine, respecting your limits on caffeine, or buffering yourself against negative news, every small shift can matter. The payoff isn't just in living longer, but living better, with dignity, energy, and a sense of empowerment that defies the notion that aging has to be a slow surrender. Instead, it can be a graceful dance of mindful choices, starting with the very first moments after you open your eyes.